It is July 2nd, 2026. You know, directed energy weapons are also used on politicians or upcoming people in Congress or delegates that want to get into office. They take their ideas so that the older folks that want to stay in office and kind of coast along, not caring about how they run everything, and then all of a sudden they have this amazing proposal. And it's because they're taking intellectual property from people using directed energy weapons. I had a lot of ideas for proposals, and all of a sudden they're being implemented here in New York City, specifically Manhattan. Some of them have. About 3 of my small little ideas have already been interwoven into it. Now, I have one really big one that I know that the city and the state can't touch, and they don't want to, and they also don't want me to propose it. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Because it's talking about that finance budget that they don't want to hear. By the way, if you want to see what I what I'm thinking of in that budget, June 10th, 2026, I was at the public hearing for the New York City Southern District, Manhattan, Committee of Budget for Finance, or Committee of Financing, the budget for oversight. And I actually spoke at around 9 hours was when I finally was able to do that. I was in line for about 5 hours in order to have a public hearing. And I talked about exactly what they're doing right now, which is readjusting the Department of Transportation so that it reduces the cost of transportation for homeless students as well as jobless. And I am very glad that they heard me. However, like I said, I have a lot of beautiful ideas. I do not think that it is appropriate for people that are afraid of losing their position of power to use their money to steal intellectual ideas that can help the economy as well as help the city. When you are targeted, don't use any technology. Try to stay away from people, stay in nature, write it all down by hand, because it's almost to the point, and do it away from people, because it's almost to the point where if people are walking by, right now in the summer, they have fans. Now fans, what do? They generate a frequency. They also generate audio frequencies for subliminal messages. That's also part of the directed energy weapons. They're not telling you that. So if you see them, they're so cute. They're little fans, pink, black, whatever. No, those are directed energy weapons that are being used to transmit as well as receive information from your mind. Are you going to commit a crime? Are you having a bad day today? Are you one of their targeted people on the terrorist screening database that they're monitoring anyway for intellectual property, or espionage? Who knows? These are things to concern yourselves about as citizens, and as not having regulation, because the United Nations didn't implement any regulation on their directed energy weapons. The Congress doesn't really know about it. Federal government is using confidential informants to experiment on people using this. That's why they haven't talked about it. And then you have the Senate that also doesn't know. And that's another issue, is we have a lot of older people that don't know much about the new technology, but they're staying in office. They're staying in office, and they don't know the updated things that they need to do in order to update regulation that will protect us.